All right, Billy Dib, mate, back in Sydney, another fight week here, No Limit on Fox, mate. Talk us through this card and why you're here in Sydney.
Well, it's an amazing fight card, to be honest with you. You know, No Limit are doing big things. We're really glad to be on this card, and we've got a kid that we're going to be basically introducing to the Australian public. His name is Munir Fatih. He's a phenom. You know, he's got great boxing skills. He's a pressure fighter. He's a boxer. He's smooth. I compare him to a young Gamboa. You know, very, very special to watch. And Wednesday night's going to be, a special night for us because this is when we introduce him to the Australian public, and he's going to be devastating. I can assure you of that. Obviously, the card's headlined by Hardman. You know, the man speaks a good game. He often backs it up. He's got amazing power. So, you know, it's going to be a great card, and we're looking forward to being out there and showcasing what we can do as well. So, boxing Australia is on a high at the moment, man, and we're just glad to be a part of it.
And so you're moving into the management space now?
Yeah, look, I met Munir a fair few years ago, and I've decided now that I want to throw my hat into the management ring. And let's see if I can develop this young man into a world champion. He'd be the first kid that I've managed and the first kid that I'll take to a world title. So I'm very excited about that. And hopefully if there's any other talent out there and they reach out, since I put that out, I've received loads of messages about people asking me if I'd manage them. And obviously I'm going to pick and choose who I want to manage. But right now my focus is solely on Munir Fatih and my younger brother Yusuf. So exciting times ahead, as I said.
Yui Dib, great win last time out, mate. You're excited there. Talk us through the fight and what's next for him.
I mean, look, that was a breakout fight for Yui as well. It was like really the first time we've introduced him to the Australian public on TV as well. People know of him. Now they know who he is. And I think, we've been trying to work out a nickname for the kid for a long time, you know what I mean? And the way he got up from that fight, you know, was just unbelievable. He was up on points and then he got dropped and then he got back up and put on a sensational performance and finish. It was amazing, and I was really glad that we got that win and really looking forward to seeing what we could do with him next. And I know we're working closely with No Limit now, and hopefully, in a not too distant future, the kid will get his opportunity to fight for a world title and hopefully do Australia proud and bring it back.
Massive fight last week, Spence Crawford, mate. What'd you make of it?
Mate, it ended the way that I expected it to. You know, I always said that Crawford was such a versatile fighter. I believe that he had the tools to beat Spence. To be quite honest, I didn't think Spence was the same person after being involved in that accident, and and they showed against Danny Garcia. You know, he won that fight, but I didn't think that I saw the same Spence, and I just thought, like, Errol's so diverse in his, Crawford's so diverse in his style. He can switch, he can box, he can, he's strong, he's fast, and he, two-time undisputed champion in two different divisions, and I believe in my heart of hearts that if he moves to 154 he can do it again, you know what I mean? So like the boxing world is exciting at the moment, man, and for Crawford, the possibilities are endless. And obviously, we've got an Australian fighter who fights at the 154 division who's the WBO interim champion in Tim Tszyu, and I think he's going to be elevated to WBO champion. So could you imagine an all-out showdown between Crawford and Tszyu for the undisputed championship? That would be unbelievable. What a fight that would be, and how proud would we be of him if he could pull that off. That'd be great.
What do you think Spence does now?
Man, they're talking about a rematch at 154, but I don't think that's a good idea, to be quite honest. I just feel like, it wasn't even competitive. It wasn't even like where you could say, oh, you know what, Spence did some good things and you could find another way to win, but I don't think so. I just don't think he's the same fighter that he was, and that's no disrespect to him because Spence is an amazing fighter, legend of the sport, you know what I mean? But what Crawford did to him that night and just proved to me that he actually has nothing that he could do differently that could basically put him in the fight.
Charlo Canelo's coming up. Charlo said the other week that he's not done at 154. He might come back down. Do you think he comes back down, or can you make those lighter weights once you go up 2 weight divisions? How do you sort of see that play out?
History's proven that you can't. And when I say that, I talk about Roy Jones Jr. Roy Jones Jr. moved up to heavyweight, tried to come back down to light heavyweight and got knocked out against Centeno Tafa. I think something happens to your body when you move up that kind of weight and then you're trying to come back down. Something happens in your body, there's a transition, and I don't think that Charlo's going to be able to do it. And if he does, does he end up hurting himself to make the weight? Does Tim end up catching him, knocking him out? That's one of the things that you got to risk in doing that. When you're going up and down in weight like that, it's dangerous. I don't think that your body, acclimatizes to the weight as good as it used to when you do that.
later this month, Nikita Zoo, Jack Brubaker, Liam Wilson back in the ring as well. What are your thoughts on that fight card?
I mean, look, it's very exciting to see Liam back. I think Liam, he come up short in the last one. He was a little bit unlucky, but that's boxing. It happens, man. And obviously, when you travel and fight overseas and you're not the A side, that often happens. And unfortunately for Liam, he wasn't able to pull it off. But I feel like this is a good step back in the ring, and I like how they're not putting him in soft. They're building him back up, and he's got the right fights. But obviously, Liam's a great talent, and I think that provided they move him along correctly, he can do something in the sport. He's a good talent. He's got great skills, good power, good speed, good movement. I just feel like he just needs a little bit more time and he'll get there.
Last one. What's your biggest sort of advice you'd give these young fighters? You've been at the very top. What's the number one piece of advice you'd give these fighters?
Very, very simple, man. You got to stay in the gym. I don't know what the problem is with fighters these days. Are they part-time fighters? Are they real fighters? When I was in the gym, every day. Like, I would fight on a Friday, I'd be back in the gym on a Monday. I was dedicated to my craft. I wanted to become a champion, and if you want to become a champion, you got to live that lifestyle. You got to be in the gym 24/7. You got to fight back in the gym. And that's the only way you stay sharp. And my advice to the young fighters is do that. Fight and get back in the gym, and you're going to see that your sharpness is on another level. But if you're fighting on a Friday, going away on a 2-week holiday after that, putting on loads of weight, and then coming back to the gym, it's not going to benefit you at all. If your goal is to become a world champion, then live like you want to be a world champion. That's my advice.
Thanks, Billy.
Thank you so much, man.